Hey everybody, Icy Cat here. The new Canal Rework is here, and I want to give you the top 10 best drone sites in the map. These are sites that will give you critical information on the objective sites and give you a leg up when other people don't know where to look to find your drone. We're going to kick off the first of our top 10 drone spots over here in the first floor map room. So if you go ahead and hop up on this counter and then on top of these rolled up map tubes, if you turn around and look at this pipe, aim for that connecting part to the ceiling there and then roll straight backward. You will just barely catch, and if you don't move it around, it will stay in position. This is really hard to see. There's this sort of black strip of shadow up near the ceiling, and your drone will blend right in. Now, of course, for all of these drone spots that we're using shadow to conceal them on, when they light up with those yellow lights letting you know the camera's active, they're going to stand out more. But when the camera isn't being used, this thing is going to blend right into its environment, and is going to give you a great line of sight on everything happening in this objective room. Our next spot is just off of this in the security room, and if you jump up on top of the bomb, you can get on top of the security camera console, and from here you can see a lot of this room, and this is an important room to see what's going on. You can also make the short hop over to the next one, and if you want, you can put your drone up here too, but it's really good to leave it up on top of the camera consoles themselves, and I'll show you why. You see this red light that's hanging out in front of you? This makes it very difficult to see, and as you can tell, when you look directly at it, you wind up losing the camera in the depths of the shadows, and that red glare from that neon tube is also going to make it harder to see. We'll go ahead and actually put this like right behind that red tube, and when you look at it, I mean, you are just not going to see that at all. That glare shader just gets in the way of what you're trying to see when you look up there. Now, if you don't have the bomb for some reason, if this isn't actually the bomb objective, you can still get up here. Go ahead and jump on the screens themselves, and you can make the complete jump up to the top. But it's not just this side of the room. Say you want an angle from the other side of the room too. You can do that. Just use the file cabinets that are on the other end, and you can go ahead and hop up and get into a position on that part of the room. The shadows and the red glare from that neon or fluorescent whatever tube is going to help hide your drone in the exact same way. Now, just outside of these rooms are the red stairs, and there's a couple here. You're actually going to get a bonus one, but we'll start with this first one. At the top of red stairs, if you hop up on top of this black handguard railing, and from there take a look at this light fixture, you're going to sort of bounce off the wall a little bit and slide into position. Now, what you want to do is edge out to the end of this light post, because you have to clear these pipes when you make the jump. But what you're aiming for is the top of the camera here. And you can sit in this position and look down the hall, but it's maybe a little bit more visible than we'd like for it to be. But you can use this pipe as a complete highway to get around this entire upper deck. And we can hide it behind the camera, and that makes for an interesting thing because you're being spotted from a position that defenders would think is their camera. Or, as I said, you can use this pipe and this little ledge here as kind of a highway to move around the entire upper hallway. Now, this is something that you can see from certain angles, but it's also a very unexpected spot to have a camera in. And you can use this to go all the way around to the other end of this hallway, and there's a nice pocket of shadow in this corner here that you can also hide the drone in, and it's going to keep an eye on that stairwell rotation. Overall, very hidden unless those lights are on, and it is a good source of info. Now let's take a look at an alternate spot that we have on red stairs. So you're actually getting a bonus 11th drone spot out of this, even though it's the same red stair position. We're going to jump on top of these pipes here, use some of these like blue valve handles to get up there, and you're going to see that we actually have a few little nooks and crannies we can get into. And some of these jumps you may not make the first time. It's okay. You should still be able to get up there with a little bit of practice. And we're going to jump up into this little nook right here. You can also slide over a little further, but we'll get to that in a minute. We'll just kind of stay right here and show you the angle that you get. So you can kind of see where we're looking, this entire upper deck and those stairs. Very difficult to see if that drone is not active, but we can even take this a little bit further. Let's go ahead and jump up above into this pocket of shadow, and now we can look down through this screen grating. Now we're just on the edge here. We can't go any further. There's like these invisible barriers that we can't get past. Even when it looks like it's wide enough for the drone to squeeze through, it won't let you. But you can see right through that grating, and you cannot see this. Even when the lights are on the drone, it is very hard to see. Now we'll head over to second floor server room. This is a challenge because this particular room has almost no spots to actually hide a drone in. But there is one that you can get up into that's kind of good to hide, and that's up on top of this part of the server rack. And if we look up here, it's in a pocket of shadow that is a little difficult to see as long as the drone is not actively on. And you can just turn that on whenever you need to, but it is pretty well hidden and really one of the only places in this room to hide a drone. Now the next room over, the second floor control room, has a great spot for putting a drone that at first is difficult to get into. So if you try to jump up on top of these screens, you just can't quite make the jump. You don't have enough height to be able to get up on top of there. Now there are some things that you can use to try to do that. For instance, there is some debris in this back corner. Sometimes you can land your drone on it in such a way that it won't break the box, but usually it does. And when that happens, you will not be able to make that jump. But there's one thing that doesn't break, and that's this window ledge back here. And if you can catch the lip of that with the wheel of the drone, you can then make a jump into this position and get into the corner. This is a very well-shaded corner that has no light shining on it. Your drone is going to be hard to spot. Also, the curve of the monitor and the angle that you have makes it very difficult to see a drone up here. Even with the lights on, when they do come on, they're low enough with that curve that they could look like some part of that display if you're not paying careful enough attention. Even though it's yellow instead of blue, there's a lot of blinking lights. Now we'll head over to the other side of the building, and this is the first floor radio room. We've got a couple spots in here. So we can go up into the corner, and we use this red light to our advantage. Between the deep shadows up here as well as the red light, it creates a section where the drone is going to blend right in. Anything of it that is exposed will be shaded with that red light and look like it's part of the environment. And anything else is in the deep shadows. Very hard to see. Now from there, we have another spot that we can use. And you can get up on top of these cabinets if you want, but the drone is pretty easy to see from that spot. However, if you go ahead and get up on top of this bookshelf and make a jump across to the top of that, then we go ahead and turn around, and we're just going to go ahead and skim across the underside of that vent. This deep pocket of shadow here is not only going to show us the room, but also give us a peek into the next room. And this doorway is used as a good rotation point. But you can see that when you're not actually on that camera, you can't see it. It's almost invisible in that pocket of shadow up there. Now let's go one room over to first floor Coast Guard meeting room. And we can get into a really great position with these potted plants. It's going to require you to make a jump from this windowsill, and if you turn off of it too much, you will fall. But you get the right positioning there and make the hop, and you are embedded in the plant leaves. This makes it very difficult to see you up there, but you get a pretty good line of sight to everything around you. And as you can see, those leaves will really help hide it. Now that's not going to hold true for every angle. On some angles, you can see it a little bit better than others. But the interesting thing is, you can just slightly adjust your position, and that way you can really optimize your concealment, and that will make it harder to see, just depending on kind of how it lines up. This is a really great way to put a drone in this room that's going to have everybody hunting for where the thing might be. And you can go ahead and shift the drone around behind those leaves and try to find whatever angles it is that works best for you. Now, although this one isn't a bomb site, first floor reception is a very common area to run into people because of this countertop here, and there are often people hiding behind it waiting for you to make your approach through that front entranceway. Now, during the test server, there was actually a drone vent up here that you could hop directly onto from this ledge, and then you could get back to that other one. They've since taken it out, and you can no longer jump to it. If you try, you will fall just short and not be able to get up there. But we can still do it. If you hop up on the ledge here, what we're actually going to do is we're going to land on the little lip that calendar makes. We're going to sort of bounce off the wall and just slide down onto it, and then jump from the top of the calendar up onto this ledge. That will give us a view right down into that pocket, and we can even ride that ledge all the way around and get some slightly different vantage points on the room. It is very shadowy up there, very difficult to see, and this is a great way to spot anyone trying to get that early pick on you as you run through that front door. Now let's head down to the basement. It's really brightly lit down here, so there's not a lot of great hiding spots, but we've found a few that are really well hidden. And the first is going to be in the basement diving room. So if we get up on top of this tank and then from there jump up by these red canvas bags, we can make a short hop that is going to land us back into this corner. It's a very deep pocket to hide in. You've got part of the canvas bag that actually covers you as well as the ventilation unit above. But the opening that you can see through is where you have your critical information. You can see the rotation from the tunnel hatch, people running from the stairs, and coming out of the door that leads into kayaks. And this is a very difficult spot to be able to see that drone. Even if it's lit up in this spot, it is very hard to see because it's just a tiny crack that you're going to be able to get that light showing through. but it provides more than enough information, even though they can't see you, that you can see them. For our final hidden drone site, we're going to move over to kayaks, and this is a really easy one to do. One hop up on top of this counter, another hop on top of the kayak itself, and then what you're going to do is you're going to nestle yourself right into the groove here that's created between the bar and the curvature of the top of that kayak. And what you can do is you can actually just peek over the top of that, and that's going to show you a significant portion of the next room where the objective is located. And you can see all the way back into this closet. But when you look back at it, you can barely see anything of that drone. It's almost a pixel peak that you can see. It's almost just a few pixels of the drone that you can see, and that's it. It actually shows the attackers a lot more of a advantage than the defenders can make out of the drone sitting there. You can use this with the kayaks that are attached to the wall as well. Again, a couple of quick little hops and you can get up into this position. And the great thing about this is you don't have to necessarily leave your drone exposed. You can kind of pop it up, make your scan, retreat back down so your drone is protected. This can be a really frustrating way to just scan and hide and make it so that they can't figure out where the drone is. Now, this does also show deeper into the pocket of this room, gives you that alternate angle into that same objective we were just looking at. And from here, again, there's almost nothing you can see. It is so hidden, and it's going to help give coverage to both of these rooms, giving the attackers a great insight into where defense might be hiding in either of these two rooms. So that is our list of the top 10 drone sites on Kanal. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't other great drone spots hidden throughout the map. That is one of the cool things about this game, is that there are always interesting new ways that you can find for places to hide drones and new sneaky spots to get into. But what I wanted to really do here was create places where you could put drones that watched over each of the possible objective sites while remaining hidden and being in unexpected spots. As I mentioned a few times, some of these positions are going to be given away by the yellow lights that come on the drone when it is being actively viewed. So do be careful on that. But in most of these hidden areas, that drone is going to be almost invisible as long as no one is actually on it. And if you use it sparingly and don't tag on it, letting them know that they need to start looking around for it, there's a good possibility that that camera source of intel can really be used effectively for your team to help give the information that you need to win. Now, this is just the first of some of the tips and trick videos I want to do for the KANAL Rework map. I will be doing something else coming up soon, so make sure that you keep an eye out for that. If you haven't already, please do like and subscribe. Make sure you click that notification icon so you get alerted as soon as new content becomes available. You can also follow me over at IcyCat25 on either Facebook or Twitter. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.